Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well. This video is going to be up super duper late because I got the wrong files for the test server first, and it's already 5:24 p.m. and I usually upload my videos at 6 p.m. So apologies for that. Now, they mentioned last year that their future battle passes will be 90 days, but for some reason this one is only at 78 days, which is interesting. So at level 1, you get access to a profile picture of one of the earliest crossout creators out there, Mr. G, with the messed up hairline and the glasses. Nah, I'm just kidding. This is Torben, the voice of reason. At level 2, you get a banner customization. At level 3, like I predicted, you get the new structural parts in this battle pass, which is kind of unfortunate, but at least you can get them in the future with badges. I just hope that they add the battle pass factions in the faction tech tree, so we can upgrade them in the future as well with badges or something like that, or we can just grind them out. At level 4, you get access to Tool Bull Dodger sticker, which is very similar to the Caterpillar stickers, but I won't mention anything about it. At level 5, you get access to 100 coins, and by the way, this is for paid players. The free-to-play players get access to this profile customization, structural parts or frames, and structural parts. At level 7, you get access to the excavator left fender and right fender. Very heavy, but pretty good stats. At level 7, that is funny. You get a concrete plate. Let's see what that looks like. That actually looks pretty good. I like it. I like it. At level 8, you get 25 bearings. At level 9, you get the first of the Widget wheels, and these are non-steering wheels. I don't know why, but for some reason, they gave these steering versions and non-steering versions. I kinda hate that. So this is the new wheel that is basically the wheel from Tankhead. It's called a Widget. And this new movement part has two modes. In mode 1, it increases the movement part's damage protection by 65%, but reduces the armored car's maximum speed by 25%. And in mode 2, it increases the cabin power by 80%. The bonus does not depend on the number of Widget movement parts, but significantly decreases with other mounted movement parts, or with analogous movement parts in the other mode, except for rotors. The one you get from the Battle Pass is upgraded for more durability and power penalty reduction by 15%. These wheels don't drain a lot of power, but they give a ton of tonnage, and the durability is pretty respectable. It's also not super heavy, and it has some pretty good resistances. So these are the widgets. You can mount them in reverse or forward, but you cannot mount them in the front of your build, which, you know, kind of makes sense. Oh wait, I like how it does it kind of wants to do a wheelie. That's kind of nice. I like how the suspension moves. That's actually pretty solid. Good work, Des. So like right now we are in mode, one of the modes, I'm not sure which one, but this is the mode where we get less a speed reduction, a speed nerf. But if we are in the other mode, we get 80% more power, and you can definitely feel it. Man, suspension wise, it looks really good. Like the animation of the suspension is really solid. Pretty nice. All right, let's see if we can, you know, use it behind cover. And what's also nice, it's instantly. It happens, the change happens instantly. So right now, boom, boom. There's no charge or load time or anything. That's actually quite nice. You cannot jump with it though. There's still a slight delay between when you can switch. Okay, I'm trying to jump, but it's not going fast enough. But basically, you can shoot behind cover, go down low, and, you know, hide your weapons a little bit, and then, well, actually. Okay, no, maybe let's turn it around, because the way I have it mounted kind of messes me up. All right, let's try it again. Now our build is a little bit better. It kind of reminds me of a crawler, the way the suspension works. So right now we're behind cover, you know, the enemy shooting at me, and then we can pop out, shoot them a little bit, and then go back down. The difference in height is not that much, but, you know, it's a nice movement part. I asked for this movement part ever since I played the game Tankhead, and it's exactly the same. It's actually kind of nice. If I can, I'll put a clip of Tankhead of these wheels in action. I like these movement parts though. They're pretty dope. Now we will obviously get a penalty for this, but you can mount them with bigrams, which looks kind of menacing. Oh, that's actually quite nice. So now you can basically tilt your vehicle and use incinerators more effectively. That is nice. That is nice. I like it. I saw you guys asking a question if you can mount weapons under your build with these wheels. And yes, you can. This is actually perfect. Look at that. That's actually quite nice. That is cool. That is nice. That is nice. I'm happy that it's like that. That is awesome. But yeah, let's proceed. But before we move on, I forgot to show you guys the parameters of this new L-shaped frame. These are the welding points. And I believe during the developer stream, I saw light versions of these and the normal versions of these frames. At level 3, you get 4 of these L-shaped frames, and at level 10, you get 4 of these 1x3 frames, which I don't think I'm gonna use a whole lot, but sometimes I do need these 1x3s. At level 11, you get some bearings. At level 12, you get a recipe for the upgraded widget wheel. At level 13, you get 2 more demolition in progress stickers, which look, I like the black and yellow paint scheme. It's just cool. At level 14, you get more profile banner customization. This one looks kind of cool. At level 15, you get 100 more coins. At level 16, you get a recipe for the normal widget. And at level 17, you get a 3x3 lightweight frame, which looks something like this. Yeah, you know, a normal 3x3. These are the mounting spots. At level 18, you get the Harmonizer Spread Stabilizer. This thing increases the accuracy of mounted weapons. Only 2 spread stabilizers can be mounted on a vehicle, which I saw on the stream. That's very nice. So minimum spread is reduced by -17 and maximum spread is reduced by -10%. Interesting. And this is the one you get from the Battle Pass, so the minimum spread is probably a little bit lower for the original non-upgraded version. Since this one is upgraded, you also get slightly more durability. This one is at 138. Energy drain is 1. Mass is 140 kilos. And at first, I thought this thing only had 1 perk, but it technically has 2 perks. Not only does it reduce your minimum and maximum spread, it also increases the projectile speed by 10% if you're moving at 50 kilometers per hour or slower, but it does not apply on drones and projectiles launched on a plunging trajectory. So if you mount 2 of these on your vehicles, you should get 20% more projectile speed, and I wonder if these 2 values also stack. I'm happy that this thing is a normal size and not some kind of 3x1 or 3x2 size. Looks kind of nice. Looks like a normal diesel generator. I'll do an in-depth review of the Harmonizer in a future video. At level 19, you get a spring duct. At level 20, you get 2 new structural parts. The excavator trunk lid. Yeah, pretty nice, pretty normal. And it also comes with some pretty good resistances. At level 21, you get more profile banner customization, and this is a picture of a claw. At level 22, you get a recipe for the Harmonizer. At level 23, you get a blue tarp paint. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, basically just like a normal blue tarp. At level 24, you get the 1x3 lightweight frame. Very nice. At level 25, you get the recipe for the normal Harmonizer. At level 26, you get access to 125 coins. And finally, at level 27, you get 2 of the steering widgets. At level 28, you get the normal 3x3 frame block. At level 29, you get access to 125 coins. At level 30, you get a recipe for the upgraded widget steering wheel. At level 31, you get a pretty cool hologram, and I wish this was an actual bumper in the game. It looks so cool. This is what it looks like. It's an actual excavator thingy. It's kind of cool. Maybe in the next Battle Pass for the founders, we can get something like this in game. It's gonna be nice. At level 32, you get a new bumper called the Firewall. You only get 1 of these. Has some pretty decent mounting spots. Pretty heavy, but it has pretty good durability. At level 33, you get more profile banner customization stuff. At level 34, you get a recipe for the normal widget steering wheel. At level 35, you get more bearings. And at level 36, you get the upgraded split shotgun. Now, when I saw this on stream, it was a little bit underwhelming, so we're gonna check it out. So it says it fires a shot of 8 shotgun pellets with a large spread loaded with 2 shells. After they are fired, the weapon is reloaded automatically. Starting ammo is 20 pieces. It has 70% penetration. Durability is 436. I'm not so sure about that. Energy drain is 8. Mass is 264 kilos. And the perk says, as the weapon deals damage, the charge is being accumulated for all mounted split shotguns. When fully charged, the next 3 shots will be fired from 2 barrels simultaneously with increased damage and impulse by 15% and 30% respectively, which is a garbage perk in my opinion. In the dev blog, it sounded a lot more interesting, but the one you get from the Battle Pass is upgraded for more durability, a faster reload time, and a higher range of fire. And I'm not so sure about these weapons, man. The other upgrades you can get is less mass, resistance, damage, penetration ability, faster reload. You can also get more ammo reserve, range of fire, and less spread. No projectile speed increase. That's kind of odd. So I'm gonna quickly check out a few splits on this build. So we have a triple split shotgun setup here. I love the icon on the bottom of the shotguns. Reload is decent at best, but something I noticed is that you cannot fire them quickly back to back. See how, whoa, that's a lot of recoil, goddamn. So yeah, what I mean is you cannot fire them bum. You have to fire them like bum. See how there's like a little cooldown time, cooldown? Wish I could fire them. Dude, what's with this recoil? That's crazy. All right, let's charge up the perk. Let's see how much damage they deal. One shot is 500. Two shots is 1,000. Actually, not too bad. On the stream, it seemed a little bit weak. And this is without the reload module or anything. It's actually not too bad. And now they're fully charged. I think. Oh, and now it shoots. Okay. Okay, I get it. All right, I made an oopsie before. So the next 3 shots will fire both of the rounds at the same time. That's a lot of impulse. And I believe it should just deal double damage, right? Yeah, not bad, not bad. Double damage plus 15%, of course. We'll have to see how these work out. Right now, I'm not fully impressed. And why does it look like a hit scan weapon? Did you guys notice that? Hold on. Okay, that's a little bit too far. I know I'm in the garage and everything, but this thing is hit scan. This thing is hit scan. Yeah, I know I don't have ping, but that's pretty much instant. I thought they weren't gonna add hit scan back. That is interesting. I think they're making it perform like this because it's new. I hate to make the argument that when the devs add new items to the game, they make them overpowered and fun and cool and awesome. And then once everybody buys the Battle Pass or already buys them, they nerf it. But this thing clearly feels like hit scan to me, man. If it stays like this, then yeah, it's pretty awesome. I assume that these were gonna be non-hit scan, so they look kind of meh to me, but interesting for now. Interesting for now, for sure. At level 37, you get the light versions of the L-shaped 3x1x3 frames. At level 38, you get a recipe for the upgraded split shotgun. Again, guys, I'm gonna make a dedicated review of the split shotgun in the future. Today, I just want to show you guys a Battle Pass and show off all the cool stuff and stuff. At level 39, you get more coins. At level 40, you get more of these excavator left and right fender. At level 41, we get one blueprint storage expansion module, which is kind of sad. They could have just given us 5 at level 41. At level 42, you get a recipe for the normal split shotgun. Level 43 gives you more bearings. At level 44, we get the new ballista, the Comet, because this thing is supposed to fire like a comet or a meteor or something. So let's try it out. But before we try it out, let's take a look at what it says. Fires a spike that flies on a ballistic trajectory. The projectile temporarily gets stuck in environmental objects and deals damage on collision. Power score is 4800. Max damage bar, whatever that means. You start with 12 ammo, 90% penetration. Durability is quite nice at 1334. Energy drain 24, and it weighs 1710 kilos when it's upgraded for less mass. The one you get from the Battle Pass has less mass, a faster reload, and more projectile speed. And this thing also has a perk. It deals 85% more damage to structural parts. That is interesting. Let's try it out. We are using the one from the Battle Pass, so it has more projectile speed and a faster reload time. So 85% more damage to structural parts, but let's check it out on the damage sphere first. 700 damage is not bad. And we have 85% more damage to structural parts. The impulse is not that great. In the dev blog, they mentioned that this thing was gonna have a ton of impulse. I mean, that car was basically super light. The reload sounds awesome, but the reload is also kind of long. I mean, just like on the live stream, a little bit underwhelming. You only get one of them, and you don't really mess up the enemy because the impulse is not that impressive in my opinion. You deal 85% more damage to structural parts, which is nice. I mean, it's cool, and it has, let me see, it has 70-something penetration, 90% penetration. So yeah, this thing is gonna be very disgusting against bricks. Hopefully. Let's make a brick quickly. Hold on. I didn't need to make one. I already had one, but because of the changes to the UI and blueprints, I had to re-add this to the garage. So let's try it out. We have a Tico Levi. Let's actually just shoot here. Yeah, so the damage, I mean, we should get 85% more damage to structural parts, but why was that only 725? I mean, it definitely goes through everything. Jesus Christ. Huh. Oh, I know what happens. It doesn't show the damage that you deal on the structural parts that gets detached, but it does go through and detaches them. See, so I would assume I would see like 1300 or 1800 more damage, but for some reason you don't see that. It just, you know, shreds through the structural parts. Interesting. I still don't think it's going to be super effective against bricks, but an interesting weapon for sure. And by the way, guys, you can also rotate this weapon and turn it around. No limitations on how you want to mount it. I think this thing is going to be amazing if somebody heats up the target. At level 45, you get the normal version of the 1x3 frame, and you get 6 of them. At level 46, you get 2 more stickers. At level 47, you get more bearings. At level 48, more profile banner customization. Level 49, 125 coins. At level 50, you get the light versions of the 1x3 frames, and you also get 6 of them. At level 51, more bearings. At level 52, the recipe for a normal Comet. And at level 53, probably the most overpowered cannon that I've seen so far. The Compiler, which also has a pretty terrifying name. The one you get from the Battle Pass has less mass, a faster reload, and a higher projectile speed, but only by 15%. This thing weighs a crap ton though. When upgraded for less mass, it still weighs 1758 kilos. Durability is only 1070 though, and the energy drain is 12. This thing is classified as a turret cannon, and it says it fires a burst of 3 projectiles that fly on a ballistic trajectory and explode on hit. Starting ammo is 10 pieces, durability 1070, energy drain 12, yeah, I already mentioned that. And the special perk for this weapon is the secondary firing mode. After 3 successful hits, the weapon can make a shot on a plunging trajectory when the firing button is held down. The damage from such a shot does not decrease with distance from the center of the explosion. Each miss reduces the amount of accumulated successful hits. So yeah, that is also a special feature of this cannon, and it's actually kind of ridiculous, so let's try it out. I'm gonna use the non-upgraded compiler for now. Let's go in low mode, and let's see the base damage. Okay, not bad, not bad. Let's try it out on an actual vehicle. Oh, this thing is really fast with 80% more power. Whoa, Jesus Christ! That's a lot of recoil. All right, let's try that again. 900 damage is pretty nice, and we already got the perk. And what's nice about the first firing mode is you don't need to hold down the button to make it fire. It just instantly shoots. You know, for like the Mastodon, for example, even the first single shot has a slight delay. With this one, it does not have that, which is actually quite nice. And the special feature of this thing is if you hold down the button, it goes to Mandrake mode with a pretty decent range. And they mentioned that even though you don't hit the target directly like this, you still get max damage. Jesus Christ. The transformation of the gun is also really cool. I think this is my new favorite cannon. And then look at the transformation. Come on. Oh, the reload is just... Okay, it cannot transform while it's still reloading. That's unfortunate, but one can already do this. It's actually kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool. The transformation is so awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, guys, it looks like it has a limited firing angle. Interesting. So it has more angle than a normal forward-facing cannon because of the weird mechanism, but it's limited. All right. Let me see the amount of damage we can do on a Leviathan or a build with a lot of structural parts. Probably 4K. Not as high as I thought, but still pretty good. So yeah, these are the new compiler cannons. They look pretty badass if you ask me. Also, I haven't seen a new CK in a very long time. Anyways, at level 54, you get more coins. At level 55, you get 2 more excavator trunk lids. At level 56, you get more profile banner customization. At level 57, you get a recipe for the upgraded compiler cannon. At level 58, you get a pretty cool, decent looking paint. I like it. It's like it's transforming into some kind of liquid metal thing like the T-1000. No, not the T-1000. The other liquid dude from Terminator. At level 59, you get 6 more 3x3 frame. At level 60, you get the recipe for the normal compiler. Level 61 gives you more bearings. And at level 62, you get the new Mainframe heavy cabin. The slowest heavy cabin in the game, or it's gonna be the slowest heavy cabin in the game, but the one you get from the Battle Pass is upgraded for more speed, more durability, and a higher mass limit. So we can get a total of 28,050 mass limit. which is kind of bonkers. This thing also gives you a crap ton of tonnage of 11,000. Maximum speed when upgraded is 54. This thing weighs 4,400 kilos. And the durability when upgraded is 583. Very nice. I just realized this is the new cabin with the highest mass limit in the game. The normal one gives you 25,500, the cohort 24, and the machinist also 24,000. That's actually kind of crazy. Also the highest tonnage, I think, out of all the heavy cabins. Oh no, the machinist gives you 12,000, okay. But then, this thing is still pretty awesome. And this thing's perk, basically, the more damage you take, the more perks you unlock. So for 700 points of damage, your power increases by 40%. After receiving 1900 points of damage, the damage is increased by 15%. And after receiving 3500 points of damage, the damage protection increases by 30%. So that's actually kind of nasty, but that's actually kind of cool. And let's play the horn. All right, not bad. Now, someone had asked in the comments that, can you get the perk if you rift off your own structural parts? So that's what we're gonna try now. And yes, indeed, you can pre-charge the perk before you head into battle. You just need to make sure you get, let me see, in total. And while we're here, let's take a look if they went through with the speed changes. Max cabin speed 12%, movement part speed 8%. Yeah, so this, I believe the Oyabun was gonna be the best for adding more speed to movement parts. If I'm correct, I forgot. I forgot everything. So by default, the upgraded version of this cabin should give us 54 kilometers per hour. And with the Oyabun, we get 8% more. So let's see. It should go higher than 50. Yep, already does. It's still kind of slow. So we can get up to 60 with the Oyabun. And the Oyabun was the only engine, or the engine that gave you the highest speed boost, because they already nerfed them. They pre-nerfed them. 60 is not bad, actually. 60 is actually not too shabby. And the engines that don't get it are the engines that give you a lot of tonnage. So like the Dunhorse, the Cheetah, the Finwheel engine, and sadly also the Oppressor engine. All the other engines should give you a maximum movement part speed boost. Yep. They're not that high. Yeah, but still pretty good. At level 63, you get more bearings. At level 64, you get a pretty cool sticker, or you get 2 of them. At level 65, you get 6 more lightweight 3x3 frames. At level 66, you get 1 storage expansion module. At level 67, you get the recipe for the normal mainframe cabin. At level 68, you get 1 more of these firewall bumpers. So in total, you get 2. At level 69, the special number, you get more bearings. At level 70, more coins. At level 71, you get 6 more light versions of the 3x1x3 frames. At level 72, you get 100 coins, which is for free-to-play players, by the way. At level 73, you get the grappler orb, which is pretty cool. Let's take a look at it. I think it's pretty big as well. Yeah, it's pretty big. I like it. When I was a kid, I used to love these thing work because we had a bus route that would go past a junkyard, and it was just awesome to look at. Pretty cool. I'm happy with this. And at level 74, you get 6 more corner frames, 3x1x3 frame pieces. And at level 75, you get a younger, cleaner looking Maja the Hyrus from the Founders faction. And after that, there are some bonus rewards, you know, the usual stuff. Bearings, 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 and more bearings. And this is what she currently looks like. And as always, fellas, there's also a workbench where you can get these upgraded items. You can get upgraded compilers, normal compilers, upgraded split shotguns, normal split shotguns. You can only get a normal Comet because, you know, it's a high energy weapon. A normal mainframe. You can also get upgraded tsunamis for bearings. You can get upgraded griffin cabin, an upgraded Omamori. You can also get a spring duck, an upgraded harmonizer, a non-upgraded harmonizer, which is actually not super expensive to craft. You can get upgraded Widget steering wheels and normal Widget steering wheels. You can also get an upgraded Skinner, upgraded Hermit wheels, steering and non-steering, upgraded gas gen, upgraded Barrier 9, upgraded Neutrino scope, upgraded buzzsaw, upgraded Piercer, upgraded Hawk, upgraded Bat, upgraded Dunhorse, and upgraded JBRider. One more thing I would like to show you, when the Battle Pass drops, there's also gonna be Twitch drops, and I'm not sure if there are gonna be any special rewards, but I did see these 2 rewards for 7 cartridges, the Witness container, and it contains these items. Nothing special, but the Valhalla is here, and the Celestial expands, but all I want is my beautiful Valhalla. And you can also get the Duckinator paint for 5 cartridges. So in total, you get 10 of each of the new frames. The normal versions and the light versions, and also these 3x3s. There are a few things I forgot to show you. The rear side of the new mainframe cabin looks like this. I'm not sure why, but there's the weird opening over here, which I'm gonna put my generator in. And I also did not show you how the Comet projectile sticks into the ground. That's a lot of impulse or recoil, man. And it also comes in contact with your own build, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Yeah. And I want to quickly check if I'm going crazy. Let's see if the hammerfall is hit scan. So maybe the new shotgun is not hit scan, but because I'm in the garage with -1 ping, everything feels instant. Yeah, I think that's what that was the case. So apologies for any misinformation. I don't think the new shotgun is hit scan. It's just that, hey, it has a reverse sound. That's kind of cool. Yeah, everything just feels instant over here. My ping when playing PvP matches is usually over 100, so the non-hit scan weapons feel super awful. So let's try it out with a Nidhogg just to be sure. Yeah, it feels instant over here. Everything feels like hit scan in my garage. So sorry about that, guys. So that's it for this video. I'm gonna make independent reviews of all the new items. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys found this video informative. If you did, I hope I earned a like and your subscription to the channel. If you guys want to see more or just want to help me out a little bit extra, you can do that by watching another one of these videos right over here. And I'll see you there in a minute. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.